Welcome to the lounge, the 111th edition, ones all around. It was a good weekend. It was a good sports weekend. It was good basketball games. Drue Hammond. We got David Schottenkirk. We got Nathan Stacken, maybe. We got Marcus Draxler. We got Charlie Hildebrandt. I'm Travis Krenz. We got plenty to discuss. It's a full goddamn lounge. We need more seats in the lounge than we already have. Final Four is set. Three of the favorites, side 3 of the 4 did not have that East region. Michigan State faces Duke, and Kentucky faces Wisconsin. We had a game on Saturday evening. Kentucky defeated Notre Dame 68-66, a contender for Game of the Year. I would say the first Duke-Carolina game was the best college game I saw this year, and I would say this Kentucky-Notre Dame game was better than that. So I would say it's right up there with the Super Bowl between New England and Seattle was the best game of the year. Charlie, was this the best game that you've seen in a while, college basketball related?
It was. Now, granted, I don't watch as many regular season games as I used to, but it's still the best one that I've seen this year. I think it kind of had a lot of the things that go into really big-time matchups. I mean, you've got two teams that are pretty good. One was certainly the favorite. I think a lot of people want Kentucky to lose just because it's Kentucky and they're undefeated. And Notre Dame, for like 39 minutes and 30 seconds or so, really looked like it was like they were going to pull it off. And I don't know. It was sort of an interesting blend of Notre Dame playing great all the time, while at the same token, and I'm assuming a lot of people thought the same that I did, that I was just kind of expecting Kentucky to hit a big shot and go on a 9-0 run, and Notre Dame would just kind of fade away. And certainly to their credit, they did not do that the entire game.
Drue, was there a point here where you thought Notre Dame was actually going to win this thing?
Yeah, I think when they were up 5 with, 3 minutes left? Maybe 2.5? The thing that stands, and I think that was the best game of the tournament, and likely, I mean, it could be. I think the Final Four games are going to be good, but that might have been the game of the tournament, and to me, it sort of highlighted this idea that if Kentucky is going to lose a game, they're going to have to not play very well. They didn't play good at all really in the first half. They didn't play very good in spots in the second half. So they have to play not super great, and then meanwhile, the team they're playing has to basically execute perfect game plan, make shots. That's what Notre Dame did, and they came really close to pulling it off. So this is what you have to do. This is what has to happen for Kentucky to lose. They have to play not good. Other teams going to have to play pretty good. Now, Wisconsin probably played like an A+ game against Arizona. So therefore, there's a chance that they could probably beat Kentucky.
I would agree with Mr. Hammond. It was the best game of the tournament so far. I think what stands out is Notre Dame played its best game I think you could play, and it still wasn't enough to win. So I think that shows both how far Notre Dame has come. I mean, they've won the ACC tournament championship, and didn't get much respect, I think, even from us. And then I
took them to lose in this round to this team.
Okay.
No.
I mean,
they've had a pass. First time since '79, making the Elite 8.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
So I was impressed. I mean, they were criminally undersized against Kentucky, and they rebounded with them. They shot very well, and Kentucky, I mean, flexed their muscle in a way that showed that they don't need to play anywhere near their perfect game to beat a team like Notre Dame. Now, I think if they get Duke, they're going to lose to Duke if they played like they did against Notre Dame. We all can pretty much agree on that.
Well, undefeated, 38-0. They may win the whole thing. Everybody mostly picks them to win the entire thing. They've 5 games that I circle. 2 overtime games, this one, the LSU game, the Louisville game. Games that came down to the final minute, games they could have lost. They didn't lose them. They won them. Does this tarnish them at all, or is it you just play enough games, you're going to have some of these close ones when we're looking at this team historically, saying that they didn't beat the hell out of everybody, that they beat the hell out of mostly everybody. But there's, 4 or 5 games, should have lost at least a couple of them, but they didn't. Does that, as far as historically speaking, does that play into your argument as well? They're not better than a Duke team or a Carolina team in the past 20 years?
I looked historically at the last team to go undefeated, 1976 Indiana. They had one game where I think they won by 5 or 6 points in the NCAA tournament because against Arkansas. It really gave them a game. I don't think it discredits Kentucky at all. I think you're going to have close games. You should have close games. They're in a power conference. You're getting everybody's best shot. I don't think there's anything wrong with being challenged or barely squeaking by. I think we've still seen how dominant Kentucky is. I hope we're not missing the fact that they just obliterated a West Virginia team that a lot of people thought would give them some trouble, and that didn't happen at all. So this is still a very good ball club.
Yeah, for me, I think Kentucky did really what college basketball teams do, which is they play poorly and poor in some conference road games, which, as we know, are a lot of times a real shit show for basically every college basketball team. And there are a couple of home games where they didn't play that great either. But so, I mean, basically, they are not really exactly an exception to that idea that college basketball teams are not very good on the road, especially in conference. But they win those games anyway. Now, how many of those games are overtime? I think they had like 2 overtime.
2. Old Miss and somebody else.
A&M, Texas A&M.
Yep.
So if we want to go under the idea that an overtime game is sort of like a
half a loss,
50-50 call or whatever, then maybe there was just the right amount of luck, or they hit a little bit of luck. I guess you need to have a little bit of luck to go undefeated. I think that's basically it. But that was on their side, and the other part. I mean, I don't know if this is really a good comparison because I'm gonna bring up a professional team, but like the Chicago Bulls win 72 games, they lose 10. They have, throughout that season, they have a handful of games where they win by like 2 or 3 points against like mediocre teams too. So I mean,
I want to look that up. Big fan of that team, obviously. I want to look that up. I want to see they just beat the shit out of everybody. But we'll see, how many games they won in the final, or 5 points or less. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and there were throughout the year they had game nights where that was the case, and to me they're maybe the best basketball team ever. Maybe the Showtime Lakers. I don't know, but.
Maybe this year's Pistons give them a run.
Yep.
I think one of the things that helps Kentucky in terms of the not taking the close games, not holding it against them, is that they've had so many games where they've looked good and slaughtered teams that were either really good or at least fairly good, and they have not looked like Florida State football did this year, where you're like, wow, they should be beating some of these teams by 4 or 5 touchdowns. How come this was still a game with a minute left? And that with Kentucky, those games are few and far between. I mean, they've certainly had a few that they probably should have won by more, but like Ahmed said, it's always tough to win conference games on the road, and that for the most part, it seems like they've had a lot of games where they've just kind of waltzed through it, and then with 9 minutes left, put their foot down and won by 17 in a game where the other team didn't make their last 9 shots from the floor.
Mm-hmm. I like that Florida State comparison. Not looking good, but Kentucky looked better than Florida State most of the time. Mr. Stackman, is that a Wisconsin shirt or New Mexico State?
Oh, it's Wisconsin all the way.
The hell? Oh, goddamn. Goddamn.
Why would I have New Mexico State?
You're from there. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. Fair enough.
When it comes to this Kentucky team, Stackman, this is for you. 40-0 possibilities. I think this was a perfect storm because, for this to happen, for you to be like a legitimate team and not like a Gonzaga or a Wichita State, like Wichita State last year, undefeated, nobody really thought they were going to win the whole thing. No. They're in a major conference. It's the worst of the major conferences. Was this the perfect storm? Because I think if they're in any other major conference, they lose at least a couple games during the year.
Yeah, I would say that in the Big Ten they'd probably have lost 1 game, that being to Wisconsin. I think they would have split if they played twice. Are you going to call the AAC a power conference?
I would not.
Okay.
I would just go BCS. Remember when the BCS was a thing?
Yes.
Those conferences. Big East don't count.
This was a down year for the SEC, no doubt. Florida was a top 10 ranked team preseason, and they didn't even make the tournament. Arkansas, LSU were really much the only the truly really good teams in that conference. I don't look at Ole Miss as anything like that.
What about Georgia?
Georgia was okay, but they don't put a feather in their cap for having a good season. But I don't trust any of them. I think it was the kind of the perfect storm to get this for you to get to this point undefeated. I would like to say though, I think that this Notre Dame game, the close call with them, will only help them against Wisconsin and either Duke or Michigan State. I think playing in a close game like the Elite Eight, if they're in a close game, if they're trailing by 3 or 4 or even 5 in the Final Four in late stage of the second half, I don't think they're going to tense up or anything because they've been through it before with the game against Notre Dame. I think that close call will really help them in Indianapolis.
I don't agree or disagree with that statement. I can see that point, but it reminds me of another point where it's wrapping up the tournament with 3 games left, trying to predict things. Notre Dame did not play well the first weekend. They played great the second weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just reminds me that each game is its own game, and you can play shit against a shit team. And then the next 2 days later, you can play a great team, and it really doesn't matter if you played shit against a shitty team 2 days ago. Each game is its own game, and you try to have some correlation between the games.
That's a very good point.
But
True, because Kentucky doubled up West Virginia, and then 2 days later almost lost to a whole bunch of guys that were 6'5" or shorter.
Now, why is there pornography on your wall, Mr. Stack? And I don't know. This is a R-rated. This is R-rated.
That's a nice Vikings cheerleaders getting all working out and stuff.
Never heard of them. Never heard of them.
They're the ones from the stadium.
Can you tell us what her hobbies are?
Reading and thigh exercises.
This lady here likes posing up against walls and looks like she's either just got out of the sun or did some hot yoga. I don't know.
What's that orange helmet thing? Looks like a hard hat.
That's a Home Depot right there. That's Home Depot.
That is college game day at its finest.
God damn.
It's his hat for Twins this year. Twins baseball is under construction, building for the future.
Oh, I have a Twins hat. I got some nachos.
Some nachos.
Yep. Gave me
Nachos and helmets. I can't beat that.
Nope.
Good. Shattenkirk, this is his 9th attempt to join the chat. We'll see he's bouncing up and down more than Aaron Hicks these days. Great games. The Duke-Gonzaga game was the worst of the bunch, and that wasn't terrible either. Wisconsin-Arizona was a good game, back and forth. Wisconsin got off to a great start. Arizona, it was back and forth, and then Wisconsin went on a run there at the end. I didn't look back at the tape a couple weeks ago, but I'm sure somebody said Wisconsin was one of those teams that could beat Kentucky along with the Duke, or I know Sack and want to see Virginia.
Everybody's saying that.
Three or four teams out there that you think could beat them. Somebody put in the, I think it was probably Shattenkirk on the Lounge Twitter, that it's funny to him that Wisconsin is going to get some pub that they could beat Kentucky. I assume that was him. Anybody else put that tweet out there? Probably not.
I'm not claiming it.
Sounded like that.
I mean, Wisconsin, if they play well, I think they can beat Kentucky. And the thing about Kentucky is, that I've said many times, and that we just talked about, I mean, they are beatable. They have yet to be beaten, but they've came pretty goddamn close. What do you expect, Mr. Amon, from this Wisconsin game?
They're going to be able to contain Frank Kaminsky, I'm pretty sure. Kaminsky kind of ran a rough shot against Arizona twice this year, but I think Kentucky's kind of a different animal with their size. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kentucky's tall.
Oh, really?
They look kind of small to me. They only look like they're 6'10" guys everywhere.
Foot wingspans and stuff like that. So I think that will kind of neutralize Wisconsin a little bit. Now, if Wisconsin's going to go ahead and shoot 11 for 14 in the first or second half from 3, then I bet Wisconsin maybe wins that game. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. I think Kentucky probably wins this game by 5 or 6 points, but I'm not really sure because Wisconsin played really well against Arizona. Arizona gave them a good game, and it didn't really matter. So I'd give them a shot. Let's give Wisconsin a 30% chance.
You crunched the numbers. That's an accurate number right there.
I did. You got my Nate Silver on. Have the calculator out. 30% chance.
Amon actually works part-time for the Harvard place that does statistics, and that's how we get the inside track on these things.
Yep.
That's why you're wearing a red shirt.
That's exactly right. Go Crimson.
Go Crimson. Anybody else picking Wisconsin? Anybody have the stones to say Wisconsin wins this game? Mr. Stacken, he's anticipating possibly. Should I do it? Will I be surprised if I do it? I don't know.
I really, only because I have Kentucky going in my bracket, I'm very nervous for this one.
Are you in contention yet? Are you in contention for monetary gains?
Yes, I can win only if Duke wins. I have to have Duke against Kentucky.
Okay.
That's the only way it'll happen, and Duke needs to win. I think Decker is the biggest key in this one here because he was unreal in the second half against Arizona. He's had a phenomenal turn. He did good against North Carolina. He had 23 points, whatever, and that was like a season high, and then he upset against Arizona. I think Kentucky's length will help kind of slow that down. Everyone saying, oh, look at Decker and Kaminsky go. Nigel Hayes is a big factor, too. I'm very scared. If I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm very scared of this matchup, but I think Kentucky can hold Wisconsin in check.
If you're to Kentucky, are you scared enough to buy a gun?
Go Badger hunting?
Would you buy a gun before this Saturday? Or that's here?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not buying a gun. I'm bringing my gun with me. I live in Kentucky. Duh.
Okay. And your dog and your gun. The other side
and your Davy Crockett hat.
Yes.
I like the light mustache that forms over a stack.
It is. Right? There's a big strap here.
Looks like Hulk Hogan. You need a Hulk Hogan. That is perfect.
Where's the NWO shirt, Stackin?
Tear it off. Are you a DX guy or an NWO guy?
What?
DX or NWO?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't watch Wrestlemania last night.
Look at it. Amon, what are you? Is your Xavier guy? There you go.
That's right.
That's right.
Excellent with you.
The other side of the bracket, at Duke, their first, Utah gave them a bit of a game, but Gonzaga, and Amon out. Gonzaga lost by 14 points, so Duke had a pretty easy road to the Final Four. Michigan State, Louisville, Hard to top those games on Saturday. They tried their best in overtime, 76-70 win. Game about this. The story about the game was all the coaches. My God, how great these goddamn coaches are. Which I do not dispute, because when you get to the Final Four and win as many titles as they have, Tom Izzo and old Pitino himself, we got to do something right. I would like an example, like, what do these coaches do? Do they call a certain play? Do they run a certain defense? What the hell do they do? Because I'm giving most of the credit to the players when it comes down to it, 51% at the least, because you can call whatever you want. The players have to actually do it. You can put them in position to play well, and that's part of the deal. But you hear a lot about Izzo and Pitino, greatest of all time, March Madness, all this. What is it about Tom Izzo? What does he do that maybe is different than anybody else this time of the year?
He recruits good players and teaches them how to rebound really well.
I like that answer.
I would say that of the coaches, I'll just say of the coaches here in the Final Four, because that seems to be the easiest comparison point. He has, you can see the build that his team has going to March. That's when they play their best basketball. It doesn't matter if they lose to Texas Southern or Minnesota or Illinois.
Or Nebraska, who they lost to again.
It doesn't matter. And really, as long as they're in the tournament, they usually do a good job. I think I saw some sort of stat that they're obscenely good. Like 80% of the time when they're playing the second game of a NCAA tournament weekend, they win. So you see them in this position advancing a lot. And 7 Final Fours for Izzo. I also think, and David probably would speak to this, he gets a certain type of player. I mean, he wants to have the top prospects, but these are all guys that seem to play pretty well, and it's been a while since they really had a true megastar. So.
Kentucky, or you got Duke and Michigan State. Would anybody like to keep riding the wagon for the Spartans?
I wouldn't bet against them.
Okay, you're not betting against them. Anybody bet for them?
I think in our brackets, I picked Kentucky to beat Duke in the national title game, and since those two are still available, I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to go with Duke over Michigan State.
I mean, it's great what Izzo did to get them to the Final Four. I mean, the moment that region was released, you could look and think, this is the region that Michigan State could very well take, and that's what ended up happening. Villanova was probably not worthy of a 1 seed.
Nope.
Virginia, you just have to be able to score. I mean, Virginia wasn't going to be able to do it enough. And I did not like Louisville. That's enough. I mean,
I didn't like Louisville either. How many people picked the Anteaters to beat them in the first round? A fair amount of people. And sure enough, it's still Louisville, Michigan State in the Elite Eight. It's the same teams. It doesn't. Louisville's another team that it doesn't seem to matter where they're seated. That they just show up here on the second weekend and. I don't know how many times Pitino said it. His team can't really shoot, but here they are in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, Pitino took them probably as far as they could ever think to go, and so good for them. I mean, if Michigan State's in the region with Wisconsin and Arizona in it, it might be a little bit different, but I mean, that's just the way the draw goes. I mean, it's not like they had it that favorable. I mean, they were a 7 seed.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they have no shot against Duke. I'm just, I think Duke's got an edge for sure.
And if it wasn't for that run, they almost won the Big Ten tournament. If they don't do that, 8, 9, 10 seed maybe. Who knows where they would have been. I think they have a pretty good chance. I think this will be a competitive game. I think both games should be pretty good. Both games should be within 2 possessions, I would hope. So.
This is arguably like the best possible Final Four that you could have in terms of the teams, the name recognition, the coaches. Now we hope. Obviously, I think people are going to overhype it, overbill it to a degree, and the games could be a 10, 12-point loss. But I think it has the potential to be one of the best Final Fours that we've seen in recent years.
Yeah, somebody rattled off all the players that are in this tournament that are legitimate guys that even casual fans, after 2 weeks of the tournament, And, I mean, Duke's got 4 or 5 of them. Kentucky's got 4 or 5 of them, maybe more. Wisconsin's got 3. Michigan State's got a couple. So, and I don't think you can say that for every Final Four. I mean, I would say when VCU made it, could you name any of the players on their Final Four team? And, I mean, they were right on the tip of everybody's tongue. So I think we've had this before where the teams sort of get there under the radar, and these are, like Stacken said, this is going to be a pretty good matchup. And Amon kind of alluded to it earlier this weekend. There's a potential if Duke and Kentucky play, they'll have a football national championship type television audience.
Michigan, yeah.
Schottenkirk is still trying to join.
He's got to get that Wrestlemania, and I need him for the Wrestlemania. Because Stacken had to leave halfway through the show, so I couldn't. He missed the last half of Wrestlemania last night.
And to echo what Traxler said, I like that all 4 teams have multiple good players, and I know Oklahoma didn't make the Final Four with Blake Griffin, but there's no team that's like, we've got this one guy, and if you can stop this one guy, they're screwed. Everybody's got multiple big-time players that can do a lot of different things. Like I said, I think that makes big matchups. I'm sure that the ratings will be quite good for CBS.
They've been good all tournament long. No reason to expect a drop off here. 25 Final Fours combined amongst the 4 coaches. Should be 27.
If it's Wisconsin and Michigan State in the final, it won't be great ratings.
No, it won't.
Well,
Final Four on
those will be fine, but they won't be as good as if it's Duke and Kentucky.
I like what Stacken said with those Final Fours, so it should be 27. But as we know,
They don't count that?
the UMass Memphis and Cal, they didn't happen.
No, they didn't.
We're kind of dancing around the trivia question, which kind of pertains to everything we've talked about last 20 minutes.
What's Dan's, Traxler?
Final point for me, trivia than baseball. What, $14 million for the TBS Kentucky game? Very, very good. Most watched in network history. Final Four is on TBS. CBS has a championship game this year, last time ever, right?
Yep. Well, not last time ever, but next year all of it's on TBS.
TBS.
And I think after that, then it alternates.
Yep. And then going back to the point about one game at a time, what you did the previous game doesn't matter. The Traxler's point against they played pretty bad against UC Irvine. Did Louisville, almost lost that game, and Georgia almost beat Michigan State. And so, I mean, one game, you move on, play a different team, see if you win. Trivia this time, I assume it's hockey related. So
you got it. Teams of the Frozen Four since 2000. Here we go.
Northern.
I'm kidding. We've been talking about coaches, Final Four coaches, and I considered making the question coaches all the way back in time that have gone to 2 Final Fours or more, but we didn't do that. There's 18 of those since 2000, but we're going to name the 32 coaches since 2000 to coach in the Final Four.
Just have coached in at least 1 Final Four since 2000?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Good question.
I got to go first, I call.
Yep, Amin, go ahead.
All right, so Final Four, 1 Final Four.
They could have gone to multiple Final Fours, but one of them has to be since 2000.
Okay.
You guys hear me or not?
Yeah, goddamn.
Goddamn.
19th time is the charm.
Here we go.
Amin.
Okay. So not multiple Final Fours.
Yes.
Not multiple Final Fours, just a coach that's coached since 2000 in the Final Four.
All right, here we go. Brad Stevens.
You got it.
Even.
Twice.
Even.
Charlie.
I will go with Tom Izzo.
Stacken.
John Calipari.
What the hell's the question?
Coaches that have coached in a Final Four since 2000. There's 33 of them. And you are up, David.
Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes, you got it. One in the news. You made it twice. Well, made it once, 2003.
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, 7 times. Drue.
Let's go with. I'm not even sure though. He's been there. Mike Krzyzewski.
12 times. Ties Wooden for the most all time. Charlie.
I will go with Travis Kren's favorite all-time coach, Jim Boeheim.
He's not bad. He's
4
not bad.
times.
I like him.
Stacken.
Bo Ryan.
Bo Ryan, twice, back-to-back. Shoddy.
Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan, 4 times. Krins.
Ben Howland. How?
Damn.
Ben Howland, 3 times.
I had that one kind of in the back pocket.
Back to Drue.
Calhoun. Jim Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun, 4 times.
I will go with Thad Matta.
Thad Matta, twice.
Honest to God, probably the ugliest coach alive right now.
Stacken.
Kevin Ollie.
Kevin Ollie.
Wow, look at this fucker. Look at that fucker. Look at that.
My all-time for ugliest coach is Tom Coughlin in a frozen NFC title game with his face.
Good job.
David Schottenkirk.
Tom Crean.
Tom Crean, yes, 2003. Put up the Tom Crean face.
Eh?
Travis.
Mike Davis, our buddy.
Mike Davis, yes. All of these are good, like, they're names that we bring up a fair amount of times. So, Drue.
Oh, boy.
Sirens.
Yeah. Oh, boy. We got probably a lot of coaches are left yet.
About half.
Have we said Shaka Smart?
He has not been said.
Okay, him.
Charlie.
I know I'm kind of in the same boat with trying to not repeat someone that's already been said. Have we said Maryland's Gary Williams?
Not been said. Very good. Twice. Stacking.
Jim Larinaga.
You
Jim
motherfucker!
Larinaga.
You motherfucker!
Six.
Who?
Jim Larinaga. George Mason. David.
Jay Wright.
Jay Wright. You got it. Krins.
Greg Marshall.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Yes.
Back to Drue.
Oh, boy. You know what? I really can't think of any of them. So, all right, I think I'm done.
Okay. Stacking.
Wait,
John
what I know after?
Whoa, time out. Charlie, hold the brand up.
Charlie.
Oh, shit.
I know a team that was in the Final Four. I don't remember if this guy was their head coach then or not. I will go with Kelvin Sampson.
You got it. Kelvin Sampson, 2004, Oklahoma. Now Stacking.
John Thompson III.
John Thompson, 2007. We're down to 11, and just about all of them are still active. There's 2, I think, on here that aren't active coaches. 3 that aren't active. David.
Paul Hewitt.
Paul Hewitt, you got it, 2004.
That's a good one.
Travis.
Fincher at center.
I'll go Bruce Weber.
Bruce Weber, 2005, Illinois.
Charlie.
Back to Charlie.
This guy's probably been said. I don't remember it being said, though. Has anyone said Bill Self from Kansas?
Has not been said. Only made it twice. I think that was a little surprising when I looked this up. Stacking.
Lute Olson.
God damn you shithead stack.
Lute Olson. We may have to open up the coaches that have gone multiple times to settle a tie here. David.
Mike Davis.
He has been said. I'm afraid you're out. Krins.
Dick Bennett.
Dick Bennett, 2000, Wisconsin. Charlie.
I'm pretty much out. I'm going to take a stab in the dark guess. I don't think this guy has made a Final Four, but maybe I'll get lucky. How about Gene Cady?
Gene Cady did not make it.
Okay.
He might have made it, but not since 2000.
Yeah, I got you. Fair enough.
Stacking.
Okay. I don't think I have this guy's name right, but I know who he coached for. Was the last name Brady?
Yeah, John Brady, LSU, 2006.
Brady, LSU, 2006. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I knew it was the LSU team.
Of course, right after I go out, I instantly think of one that probably keep me in, but that's my first world problems.
All right, we're down to 5 here, and it's Krins.
There's still one really big name, unless I'm missing something. I just totally remembered it.
There is one really big name, yeah.
That guy.
Krins?
Talk directly into the camera.
Guy went to the Final Four, at least 2 years ago. I don't remember his name. I know what it starts with. Jim Beeline. John Beeline.
Yes.
John Beeline.
Yep.
Boy, that one I dug deep in my ass for that one.
Okay, 4 to go here. Stacking?
Oh, shit. I have a couple names in mind, but I don't think they've made it to the Final Four.
I got one.
Pressure's on now.
I got one!
I'm gonna roll the dice.
He's gambling. Hulk Hogan's gambling.
Hulk Hogan's gambling.
Oh, I have two names here.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Spill one out already, come on.
Bob Huggins.
Bob Huggins, count it.
God damn you to hell.
He's made it twice. Cincinnati in the early 90s and West Virginia.
But there's one big name left. I think it's Rick Pitino.
You got it. Rick Pitino's still out there. 7 times. We're down to just 2. Both of them retired coaches.
Oh, damn it.
This is a Shawn Michaels Undertaker classic here, Stacking. You should be honored.
I am.
I'm
here. I'm with you, brother.
Thank you. I mean, 2 left. Jesus,
It is just us 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
And retired, not dead?
Pretty sure they're not dead.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because that would take out one of my guesses.
I just thought, God damn it. I think I got both of them that are left now. Of course, Mike Davis, fuck yeah.
I wish I could mute everyone else and just ask Traxler if one guy's on there.
I don't think we have that technology yet.
Yeah, I have no clue how to do it. I'd screw it up, so.
Okay.
It's a rather gigantic name of coaching, too, that I just thought of.
Does it get you hard?
No.
Yes, very.
Oh.
Wait, whose turn is it right now?
It's fine.
Okay.
I know it's not. Dean Smith.
That's your guess?
That should be -1. Come on.
Well, it's close. It was 2 years off. 2 years off.
Prinz, you have one here? That is incorrect, by the way.
Since he said that, it opens up the Carolina coaches. I was going to go with Tubby Smith.
That's your guess?
Yeah, I don't think it's right, but...
That is incorrect, yeah. Tubby only made it one time.
Hold on, I got one more in the chamber. If Stack, do we redo this, or what do we do?
Stack, I guess you can take another crack if you'd like.
I'll give the floor to Krins here.
Okay.
Bill Guthridge?
Bill Guthridge, yes.
Thank you.
1998-2000.
Is Eddie Sutton on there?
Yeah,
God damn, yep. I thought of him earlier. I forgot him. Old drunk ass.
Eddie Sutton, the only guy that wasn't
When they beat St. Joseph's in the Elite Eight.
Yes.
2004 Oklahoma State. He made it
With
three
that
times.
one guy's son, I can't think of the famous dad who was briefly the life coach for Jamarcus Russell and then said, "I quit being your life coach," which I would assume has to be the biggest insult ever, to be like, "I can't be your life coach anymore."
How
Anyway, that kid's son played for Oklahoma State.
Very good job. One fun fact.
John Lucas.
Yeah, John Lucas. John Brady was fired before less than 2 years after making the Final Four. He's now at Arkansas State.
Wow.
Red Wolves.
That classifies as a fun fact for who?
For us, we're not John Brady. I don't know.
Marcus, just out of curiosity, how far did Skip Prosser ever take Wake Forest?
Lucky knows off the top of his head.
That's where the dead part came in, I think. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. And of course, I picked Dean Smith, who I know is dead, but I didn't know. I wouldn't have gotten either of the other ones.
It's too bad none of us played for Dean Smith, so we couldn't get that $200 check.
Put that towards the
$200 check.
Skip
Prosser
got made it past the Sweet 16.
2014 or 2004 Sweet 16.
I was impressed that we got pretty much every one.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, that went farther than I thought it would.
2 weeks in a row. Good questions. Drue Almond's been working day and night, night and afternoon, on a huge, massive blog, his book of baseball. This is due out sometime in the fortnight, sometime this week.
Yeah, I got a really big thing coming out for your last place Twins. Got about 4,000 words on the Twins infield, which is just absolutely stupid. I cannot believe I've done this, but here we go. So that will hit the blog very soon.
You'll do a live reading at the Barnes & Noble in Littleton, Colorado, coming up Sunday at 5:30.
Yep.
A live reading of the blog. You'll be concentrating on the DHs, I understand.
That fine?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Is there a forward from Bill Simmons?
I don't know. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. So we'll see.
He doesn't know anything about baseball. He just goes gaga over basketball.
Whoa, now let's not let our bias bleed through here.
Them's fighting
I
words.
cannot stand that guy. I cannot stand him at all.
Is it because he's a wrestling? Whoa, fucking gloves are coming off.
Did Sean Kirk just say he doesn't like my shirt?
What?
I can't stand your shirt. I can see you, can't see me, thankfully.
What's wrong with my shirt?
Are you repping Wisconsin? I joined late. I don't know if it's already been discussed or what. But come on.
I just
The question was brought up earlier.
It's like a Tiger Woods 1999 type shirt.
Good. We have a Monday playoff. I enjoy Bill Simmons. Big ass books, fairly easy to read. So if you're gonna write a lot of
level of a fifth grader.
No, if you're gonna write fucking 800 pages on the NBA, better be pretty entertaining and easy to read. So well done book, quality book.
I like his website. So.
I'm hit or miss with Bill Simmons, but I've absolutely been a fan ever since he did his Action Hero title belt, going back to like Steve McQueen in the 70s. It was one of my favorite things I've ever read.
We like those title belts. Those are good.
Yeah,
so
we really do like title belts.
Drue's doing the Twins preview. How did you get that idea to start that? And Why? Did you expect it to be 4,000 words on Dan Santana? Or?
No, but then I wrote about Dan Santana and, Jose Neil Pinto, and then I thought to myself, this is going to be ridiculous. And so here we are, and couple hours a day for about 3 days in a row probably left, and then we'll have this thing done just in time for opening day.
Will this come in installments, infield, then outfield, then Mexicans, then Asians? How do you?
It's written in German, so I don't. Yeah, that's how it's going to come out. I don't know if I'll do it in installments or not, but I hope that's okay.
Is there a prologue?
Yeah, I wrote like a long poem. Is that the same thing?
That's what I thought you would do. That's what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, pretty good little poem that should really sets the tone for the whole thing. So it should be good.
Did you find anything that you thought was interesting, or anything that changed your mind on anything? Anything you want to share going through this? Not
really. I mean, I think Danny Santana is a pretty good little ball player. I don't know if he should be hitting leadoff, which it looks like he's going to, but
who should be?
I'm not real sure, but it should. I think he should hit more like maybe sixth. You know what? Torrey Hunter's probably going to hit cleanup at some point this year, and I think that's pretty dumb.
He should be hitting sixth.
I agree. I would welcome Joe Mauer hitting leadoff, Ryan Dozier second. Kenny Vargas third, maybe. I don't even know. Anyway, so I don't think the team's going to be very good. I think they have some talented players on it, but they keep throwing on these veteran guys who are journeymen who aren't very good, as opposed to their younger players with some upside, and also for less money. So I'm not real sure about it. I think they'll be a better team in July and August than they are in April, because their opening day lineup is going to be Hunter in the outfield, Shane Robinson in center, and Arcia in left. But anyway, so we'll have a big long thing for opening day.
Shattenkirk.
I was just going to say, I think Jordan Schaefer has a chance to start in center on opening day. Not that it's worth much because they're both shit. But
there's a chance they'll bring in a guy like 2 days before the year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen there, but it's kind of open.
The 25-man roster is mostly set. I enjoyed Aaron Hicks in AAA. There's been some umbrage against this move. If you dislike this move, tell me why.
I would have just kept Hicks up and had him face lefties. I mean, if you don't like Aaron Hicks that much, well, then just have him be a right-handed batter.
Be the platoon system instead of Shane Robinson or Schaefer. Be one of those guys.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think Hicks had like a 400 OBP against left-handed pitchers last year, and it was a small sample, but I don't know. If you don't want him to be an everyday player, he can maybe help you out in a role like that. So I don't know. I don't understand why the team loves sending guys to AA and AAA to like get better. Well, let's get these guys to get better playing major league players. Just my view.
Any other guys that you like? Mike Pelfrey. Let's touch on Mike Pelfrey. Pitched well this spring in 2 starts, 13, 14, 15 innings. Pitched very well. ERA low 1. This is spring training. He says he is healthy. I think they made the right move, and he will pitch in the bullpen. Is this what you would have done?
I mean, yeah. I mean, considering you got to pay him $5.5 million, no matter what you do with him, you might as well throw him. He'll probably be a guy that they pitch in the 6th or 7th inning. That's probably the best area for him. He's not a very good pitcher. It's been interesting to see how much value the Twins have put in spring training with a number of guys, not just Pelfrey. That seems weird to me. I think you got to go with the actual games and how they performed there. And there's a lot of data about Mike Pelfrey from the past few years, and none of it is good. And just today, where they are going to have Blaine Boyer in the bullpen, why not give Michael Tonkin, who's a hard thrower, let's give this guy a chance to be something, instead of these veteran guys all over the place.
Reese? Mr. Traxler, were you surprised at Mike Pelfrey's reaction? Because he pitched well. He thought he pitched well enough to be the 5th starter. He thought he pitched better than anybody to be a starter. He said he's cooled off on his comments now, but he said, let's see if we can get a trade going here. Somebody knows my value because I'm healthy, even though at his peak he wasn't any good worth the shit anyway. Are you surprised that he publicly said all this stuff?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I guess when you're a veteran and you feel like you've earned some respect, you deserve some respect, I guess I can see where he's coming from, but I think he also needs to understand that, last year was his chance to get into this rotation on a more permanent basis. unless he's an idiot, and that he very well could be, you need to know what the status of this is going in. And I mean, he did pitch very well, but it's what you did over the course of last season should stand taller than what you've done in a short spring.
The sample size and the quality of competition just isn't there, so I'm surprised he can go out there and say, yeah, I pitched 15 innings, I'm healthy, look at me. Very surprising. So, any other big moves as far as the guys that you'd like to see come up early? You mentioned that this team's going to be better mid-season than they will be right now. Who do you expect to go down? Whether that's Pelfrey or Schaefer or whoever. Who do you expect to come up? Who do you want to see?
Trevor May, Alex Meyer. I don't get why they couldn't have just said, we'll give Meyer some work in the bullpen before giving him starting rotation duty. I don't know why they couldn't do that. I guess I suppose they just wanted to get more work in, but I just think that would have been good for him. And then I mean the Trevor May Tommy Malone race was interesting. It really kind of seemed like that came down to how Trevor May's last spring training start went, which is weird again, but somebody's going to get hurt, and so May will get starts. And I don't know what they're going to do with Alex Meyer, but at some point he'll be a big league pitcher. I don't even know. He's 25, and they like him in AAA still. Anyway, I like those two guys. I really think they should really consider Miguel Sano in August. I actually think Trevor Fluke could be a trade candidate if they're out of contention and somebody wants a third baseman. Those are kind of the three main guys. I think maybe Eddie Rosario will get thrown up at some point, but I think he needs time in AAA. I think they might get rid of Aaron Hicks. I can't say for sure that he ever plays with the Twins again.
Who will I bitch about?
I don't know.
They got rid of Ponder, and they're getting rid of Hicks. How am I gonna fucking live?
You'll live.
God damn it. Draft, I don't know. Draft this shitty quarterback in the draft. Who can they draft? Draft Jameis Winston. I'm sure he'll fall in the 5th round. Draft somebody like that.
Yeah.
Damn it. I got to get on a guy to complain about. Next week, Sunday, afternoon show probably, big baseball preview. Because baseball starts Sunday. They have a game, a real game in America. Then Monday, Tuesday, everybody starts. So that's when we'll break it all down DX style. Drue, you brought us, or Marcus had some over-unders for the baseball season. If you want to do a slight preview then go in-depth once you've had a chance to look at the numbers.
Let me pull those up.
Pull those up there for us.
God damn, look at that.
Y'all see those? I'm talking.
Yeah, Marcus, anything stick out to you as potential things you're putting the house on?
To me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the one thing that stood out to me is how many teams are in the middle. A lot of perceived parity. A lot of teams in that 80, 81, 78 range. I feel like, I know that we think that the American League Central is going to be close, but I would maybe take Cleveland to get 85 or more wins. Same with Baltimore, more than 83. I'd be interested. I don't know what to do with the Cubs. They're a team I can't really figure out, and I would maybe take San Diego under 84.5. I don't know. That's a little bit of gut.
Here's me. AL Central. Detroit over. Cleveland over. White Sox over.
Really? They're going to have 3 teams with more than 85 wins, or 80 wins.
Yeah, I think you'll have 3 winning teams, and then unders for Kansas City and Minnesota. I think Twins are going to be right in that 71, 72 win area. The more I really think about it. I like the Cubs quite a bit. I think they'll win 85, 86 games.
Can they be your National League version of the Blue Jays so I can disagree with this on you?
With the Cubs?
Yes.
I guess. The NL Central will be good. I think Pittsburgh and St. Louis will be good, but I think the Cubs will be good too.
I forgot that even if Hicks goes away, I still got the Blue Jays, so I'm fine.
Yeah, the Blue Jays won 83 games last year, and so
make the playoffs. Do something the Royals did.
What's the over-under with the Blue Jays?
They haven't made the playoffs in 22 years. They've had a lot of good years, a lot of years right around 500. We need a goddamn appearance.
Blue Jays 82.5 this year. Blue Jays
under all day long.
Yeah.
This is the cringe. Show me something.
Show me something, Toronto. Make a fucking playoff game. Tampa Bay at 78.5. I think they're going to be the worst team possibly in the American League.
No.
Even more than Houston?
Houston's on the way up. I still like them for under on that. I think Tampa Bay is going to be awful.
I think they'll be okay. Their lineup's not going to be very good, but they have maybe the best starting rotation in that division.
Yeah, I like Tanaka. Tanaka's good.
Alex Cobb.
Michael Pineda.
Guy. If Matt Moore is,
Hey.
I mean, Oradazi, I can't pronounce that name, but he can strike some guys out. He's kind of an under-the-radar guy. I think the Rays will be all right. And I think you might be thinking that Madden's gone, so everything that was about the Rays is now also gone. I still think there's talent to where they'll win and be respectable. I don't think they're going to.
GM also left too, so that's got something to do with it.
Who?
The Rays GM, was it Feldman or something for the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Yep. Plenty of changes in Tampa Bay. Big baseball stuff next week. Maybe do those over-unders. Do you want to do the same as last year where we pick 5 that we go all in on, and these are our 5, and see who gets the best out of 5?
I'd be open to that.
Okay.
Also,
2 weeks, Krins. You got to have the big NHL preview.
I'll give that to you in tracks. You can go buck wild. You can go balls deep on that NHL preview.
What? There's 30 MLB teams and there's 6 of us. We could just draft teams like
Oh my God!
March Madness.
Charlie, did you listen to a certain podcast? Was that on the podcast, the quarterly?
That was something about teams every week, wasn't it? Or what was that?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe that would have been. You want to do that idea? I like that idea. A live draft.
Playing with an idea
Spoiler
where
alert, I don't even follow baseball, so I'll pick awful teams so you guys have better chances of winning.
You want to do just?
I still want in.
You want to just do teams overall, best records based on those 5?
Sure.
No, I want you to pick a team each week.
I know. We'll do that too. But Charlie's thing.
Okay.
Each guy has 5 teams. You just pick the best teams. Most wins.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We got that. Charlie's draft, sponsored by the Barbecue Pork People. We got the Matt Harvey pitcher of the week. We'll try to do that past fucking June. What you want to do? The Drew Buttera hitter of the week?
Yeah. I always like seeking out those box scores and finding out who's terrible.
This is based on all these are based on weekly performances or in the past 2 weeks. Are these the parameters? Any other qualifications?
Yeah, it's usually like last week or 2.
Okay. So
How about if we can't come up with anybody, it automatically goes to Ricky in Alaska?
That'd be fine with me.
Who?
Enrique in Alaska, Ricky in Alaska, listen.
Alaska.
He's not a hitter, though.
Pitcher.
No, pitcher.
Oh, okay, all right.
Pitcher.
Okay.
So we got those 2 things. We're gonna do everybody will pick a different team each week. This is the big one, I think, because we want to utilize Mr. Traxler's Excel formatting skills here to the nth degree.
It's A+. That's the one thing I'm really good at.
We'll do a draft of some sort each week. We'll rotate it so everybody gets different picks. Come up with
each week.
I know you pick a new team each week. So like if Stacken picks first. The first week he'll pick like last, the second week, and then 5th and 4th, and work his way back.
But you can have the same teams each. If I want to have the Padres and Stack wants to have the Padres, that'll be okay.
That's okay. But you can only pick one team a week. I mean, if you pick San Diego once, you can't pick them ever again.
Right. That's right.
So be wise on the schedule, pitching matchups, home and away, things of that sort. So if you want to pick the same team as somebody else, that's fine. So I guess we really don't need a draft if that's the case. Pick whoever the hell you want, and we'll keep track of that record-wise. So things to do this season to care about baseball, to keep track of the baseball.
I still won't care all that much.
You shithead, you. Come on, you gotta. Come on. We like the Mets. We like the Marlins. Come on,
Hey, I'm with you on the Marlins. They're a playoff-bound team.
We like it. So baseball
And
next
if you follow, and then you're in on like the Kansas City Royals early, like last year, then you can be a hipster and see how you were in on it before it was cool.
See? Right. The Astros. I was in on the Astros last year in preparation for 2017. So
I'm with you with that one.
Be prepared, Astros 2017. Got about a half hour left.
I got to go 15 minutes ago. So
very good. Well, all right.
Enjoy WrestleMania talk.
Will you be here next week? He doesn't know.
He's gone now.
He's out of here. WrestleMania was a very good show. I'm glad Schottenkirk can be on for this. The 31st edition, very good show from Levi's Stadium. We had a big preview on the blog. Schottenkirk and I put something together. Sacken just says, I give 0 shits about this, so I'm leaving.
Hey, I'm coming back. I can still hear you, but I don't give a shit.
I'm walking out of the room.
Very good. Boom! Give me one of those.
Boom!
I did not have big expectations for this going in. I was not very excited for WrestleMania this year, but everything delivered or over-delivered. There was nothing bad on the show. Some people have the gall to say this is one of the best WrestleManias ever, one of the best WWE shows ever. I'll definitely put it in the top 10 for WrestleManias ever. Probably outside the top 5. David, where do you put this WrestleMania historically after a first watch?
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, right after that, I was thinking about this last night before I was going to bed and whatever, but it's in that 8 to 10 or 11 best ever probably. Is just going right through my brain. But it's probably the best one since probably 2008, so 6, 7, 8 years ago. I mean, it's been quite a while, and it's just, the thirst of the fans, and it was even, it was really good, but it just felt so much better because we haven't seen anything like it in a long time. So I think right now a lot of people are overrating it. If we look back in 2 months, we'll kind of come down off the mountain or whatever. But there's no debating that they hit a home run and they desperately needed to.
The thing that doesn't put it in that top 5 category for me is there was no historically great match on this last night.
Right.
There wasn't any match. I mean, everything was good though. There was no like dip down like, well, there's this match now outside of the women's match. Everything was good. Marcus, did you catch some of this?
I caught probably half, maybe a little bit more than half.
The second half?
No, like the middle and then the end.
Okay, what's the first thing you saw?
The first thing I saw was the I'm going
match, wasn't it?
The ladder match, yeah. Which
that was the first match.
I'm a big fan of wrestling with props. So if you have props, you have me. And I'm told that this was a historically strong ladder match.
It was okay. It was all right.
No, all right. Well, anyway, I liked it, and yeah, a lot of ladders by the ring. That was more ladders than I was expecting. I was expecting maybe a couple.
Like a dozen.
They had a lot. That's good.
Daniel Bryan won this one. He was the favorite. No surprise there. Dolph Ziggler, maybe Wade Barrett get together. How long does Daniel Bryan hold this title?
That's the $1 million question, because with Bryan winning that Intercontinental title and winning the US title later on the night, there's a lot of speculation that maybe they're trying to put more importance on those titles and bring those the luster to those back a little bit. But we'll see. I think there's a potential for him to have that for a while. There's also potential with the way it broke down for him to lose it in a month too. Just the way that he's been so hot and cold with the upper management, the way they've been treating him. Obviously, they know that the fans, he's one of the bigger guys, obviously. And with the yes chant and the whole bit last year at Mania, wherever he's still totally over. But I'm kind of at a loss what they're doing unless they have some sort of unification match with Cena versus somebody down the line and have it hold 2 belts, or Bryan or somebody trying to hold 2 belts or whatever. But we'll see how it plays out. Tonight's a big night to set things moving forward.
Marcus, did you see Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton?
That was the one. That was one I missed. I was having some video problems,
okay,
and so I did miss that.
This was another good match. David, Charlie.
I was gonna say I didn't see that. I did see the GIF.
How was that?
GIF or
How was that?
GIF, whatever you call it, of like the throw in the air, and I always forget what he calls it, the diamond cutter. I know it's not Diamond Dallas Page.
Tom Kelly.
RKO or whatever. that was pretty nifty.
Yeah. The RKO, the curb stomp and the RKO. That was I didn't see that one coming. That was I mean that's the best one ever, is it not?
Yeah, it's definitely the best RKO ever, and it was a very good matchup leading up to that, and to have a finish like that, you put Soldier, that is probably, for my money, obviously well documented that I'm an Orton guy, but that would it's probably match of the night as a single match, anyways.
I mean, I think Randy Orton. I mean, Reigns and Rollins going forward is something that's going to happen. Orton's in the mix here since he won. I can maybe even see tonight them having a match, or maybe at the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins comes in the main event and wins the title. What's the title picture like for you? Because there's a lot of challengers here. Reigns probably going to win this at some point. Maybe Lesnar and somebody at SummerSlam. Who's in line for a title shot here these next 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I think Reigns probably gets it 6 weeks or 2 months down the road. Not the next pay-per-view, probably the one after that. You look at a guy, Orton, obviously, like you just said back in the picture. I don't know if they put the strap back on him around SummerSlam or what they do there. SummerSlam looks like it could be a triple threat of the field four-way, just the way everything played out last night. Obviously, they have months to get that far to figure out, but I think there's definitely, I would be very surprised if it was just a one-on-one for the title at SummerSlam at this point. Lesnar will be back, obviously, with the new deal. He'll be there tonight, and then pay-per-views moving forward. Obviously, come SummerSlam, he'll be right there, and when he's there, it doesn't make any sense for him not to be in the title picture, for my money, for the foreseeable future, anyways. Cena winning the U.S. title, obviously he's still the biggest draw in the company. Some can argue that, but he's probably going to be one back in at some point. Who knows? Maybe he's a guy that he's been at the top of the mountain so long, you really can't do anything to knock him down too far. So maybe he'll be okay with not having the belt for an extended period of time. But Rusev moving forward, I don't think we can do with him. I would like to see him get more of him come back, with a mean streak, so to say, with him, and see if he can make a run too. But there's several guys, and they're a hell of a better position after last night than they were heading in my opinion.
Did you catch Sting and Triple H, Marcus?
Also missed that one.
This was my favorite match of the night. Charlie, DX came out, NWO came out. This was a fantastic goddamn scene.
I heard about it. I heard it was essentially like if you were a kid from roughly our generation, it's like if you were 5 having the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers and the Transformers all together at the same time.
This was great. The match was pretty good. DX came out. Didn't really expect it, but yeah, you could see that. And then David, I did not expect the NWO to come out. That was the kicker for me.
Yeah, I jumped on my seat and spilled my drink when I heard the NWO music, and I saw him walk out, and Scott Hall a little bit, and then Nash. Best part of that, jumping forward a little bit, was Nash tearing his quad. That was great stuff. You talked about that last night.
That's good.
Like you said, DX made sense. And okay, it happened. And then when NWO music hit, I just lost it. And sure as shit, here they come. That was definitely a good surprise.
Thought Sting might win this one. Might be his last match. I think he's got 1 or 2 left. Does he wrestle again?
Boy, I hope so. But the more thinking about it, thought about it some today or whatever, just that handshake with him and Hunter at the end after everything happened with the interference and the match was over and whatnot. And pretty good match. I was assuming that he's probably going to have 3 matches last night, SummerSlam, and next year at Mania. But I really don't know. I hope he has 1 or 2 more, but I could see it playing out either way.
It was my favorite match of the night. It was very, very good. You had the Rusev match. I'm not really into this. The entrance for Rusev was tremendous. The fucker comes out on a tank. It was great. End it there. That's all I need to see there. So that was fantastic. You had Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. Undertaker looked a lot better than he did last couple of years physically. Match was about what I expected. Probably the worst match of the night, and it was okay. Undertaker next year, I think you expect this as well. This is it for him. Next year, it's got to be his last match.
Yeah, next year is his last match. I don't think there's any debating that really. It makes perfect sense. It's going to be in Dallas. Being Texas, I think the way it's going to play out, he'll go in the hall the night before, have his one last match against whoever the next night, and be done right off in the sunset. And I think we alluded to, and I alluded to in the blog, is that next year has a chance to be retirement central big time. Being in Dallas, Taker being towards the end, the potential one more time for Stone Cold. If he's ever going to do it, if he's ever had that one more match, it's going to be next year. At this point, I think there's a pretty likely that he does. I might just be getting my hopes up, but that would be something to see. I think, like I said, I think we get Stone Cold for Cena, and I think we get Sting versus Undertaker on top of whatever else is going to be the kind of match that night, whatever moving forward at Mania. And I also think that Vince, for lack of a better term, is going to step aside, and I think he has started to realize that Hunter's got something special going on with NXT. His writing ability, there's been a lot more fan interest up until last night in NXT. What's been going on down there versus the main show. Hunter's been doing that all pretty much by himself from the sounds of it. I think he knows it's in good hands. He's got people around him. He'll still obviously be involved, but I don't think he'll be. Hunter will assume that role of being in control of every single detail every night.
Main event was good, better than I thought it would be, which was a theme of the night. I was surprised that they did the cash-in during the match and that Seth Rollins ended up as the champ. Were you surprised? So I know we kind of figured maybe after the match or maybe tonight they would do something, but I thought it was very well done the way that they did it.
Yeah, the way they did it protects both Lesnar and Reigns. I was pretty surprised that he pinned Reigns for the title. It didn't make much sense. We talked about that last night too again, but it's just you do that, make a triple threat there. He cashes in, he pins Reigns. You're protecting both of them in a sense, even though it would have been nice if you actually would have pinned the champion. Because now Lesnar can go away, and when he comes back, I never lost. I didn't get pinned this or that. Reigns is going to have the excuse that he was getting this, kick for 15, 20 minutes by Lesnar before Rollins came sauntering down and stole the title from both of them, whatever. But it was definitely well done and something that I was pretty surprised to see.
Nathan Stackham.
Yeah.
You like Ronda Rousey?
I do. I heard she took she did something with The Rock or something last night.
She did?
That's very cool.
Would that get you interested in if she were to have a match next year, would you say, sign me up, I'm going down to Dallas, I'm going with my buddies from the tri-state region, the tri-state posse, we know who they are.
Yes.
Would you,
we're going to have to do the quad state here pretty soon after I move up to Fargo.
What happened?
We're going to have to do the quad state here pretty soon after I move up to Fargo.
The Four Horsemen. It's 6 of us.
No, but to answer your question, no, it is not in.
Her fighting does, but this does not.
This.
What if it was in Sioux Falls
No.
instead of in Texas?
No.
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 What if it was in Fargo?
What if it was 3 houses over from where you are at that point in time?
I'd probably peer over my fence just to see what all the commotion was about.
What are these 80,000 people doing over here? What is this? I can't seem to find a parking spot.
probably get a shit ton of water and beer and sell it for like $5 a bottle, just like you're at the arena. There you go.
Not a
No,
bad
maybe
idea.
3. We'll cut them a deal. $3. Largest.
They're not big enough profit margins there.
Get your lawyer ready because you don't have a liquor license.
That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I'll make so much money that it'll pay for the lawyer.
Whoa.
Anyway, largest event ever at Levi Stadium was last night.
Probably. I mean, they fudge on the attendance. They said, 75, 76. It was probably around 65. So,
It said 79, I think.
76 something, but yeah.
I mean, it was around 65.
Well,
It was a good crowd.
so congratulations to them. I think it only beat out the San Jose Shark LA King hockey game, if I am correct, or that was in the top 3.
Sure.
So
Those Niner games are really well attended. It comes down to it.
Here's my wrestling question for you folks.
Us folks.
Yes,
Ric Flair.
wrestling people.
Ric Flair.
How typically is the Money in the Bank briefcase cashed in? What is the typical scenario?
David?
There really isn't a typical scenario. It's the whole point is if you win it, you can cash it in anytime, anywhere, under basically any sort of circumstances. Last night, the first time I was ever cashing at Mania, unless I'm mistaken.
Yep.
Sometimes if you cash in, you still might not win. You'll waste your cash and still won't get the title. It was probably about 80% cash in right when I actually get the title. But I'm blanking for examples in the last couple of years because it hasn't been anything too much.
Well, you would. What my question is does it normally happen at these big events, or
No, not necessarily.
not necessarily?
It's happened the night after WrestleMania on Raw. It has happened on a random Raw in the middle of May. It has just happened in the middle of November. It has happened. So you win it, you have 1 year to cash it in. One year. It started in 05 at WrestleMania, and then 4 or 5 years it became its own pay-per-view. So now it's in the summer, June, July. So 2 people have cashed in, have failed. So it's probably been 12, 13 of these matches. So you get it, you're probably going to win. So.
What kind of match do you win to get it?
It's a ladder match. They hang the briefcase above the
good.
ring. There's 6, 7, 8 guys. It's similar to the thing you saw last night. Same.
Good, I like it.
Same shit. You'll see another one here coming up. So, very entertaining show. Any other thoughts from Trax or anything else that stuck out to you? Ronda Rousey, Rock. That's the big thing coming out of this.
I actually had the same thoughts that David had about the title match. Each guy basically is going to be able to have their little argument going forward. It's a good little feud. There's a lot of different ways that you could potentially have the title fought over going forward. It seems smart. That's why WWE is #1 in sports entertainment.
Is that right?
That was my favorite part of everything.
At the end.
Just the constant worldwide sports entertainment leader.
There you go.
David,
what do you make of Traxler's involvement here? He watches this. He watches a bit of the Rumble. He went down to OVW. He's training down there now. What do you make of this? What do you make of this?
Well, I think my persistence is starting to pay a little bit of dividends because I've been randomly shooting stuff from a random wrong little August to a pay-per-view to whatever, and now he's the Rumble. And last night him and I were going back and forth, seemingly 2.5 hours. He was right there. He was watching all. He definitely he knew what was going on. He had his own little opinions about certain people or whatever that I found kind of funny or whatever, and he wasn't misguided. He knew exactly. He knew just about everybody. I think I sent him the bearded guys probably win this ladder match. He goes, Daniel Bryan. Oh yeah, he's not a newbie. Let's put it that way, which is good to see.
The philosophy is nothing more than I know it's going to get 20 minutes of time on this show anyway, and so rather than sit here and look like a dumbass, I want to know what we're talking about. And the other key thing is that. Growing up, I mentioned that I remember watching SmackDown, but I never followed it close enough to remember who was who, other than what's his face that got inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend, and I remember him with the Rakiki or whatever the hell his name is.
Rakiki.
I'm beating you anyway.
That's right.
And, I remember some of the wrestlers, but I knew that the biggest things were going to happen at WWE or at these pay-per-views. I've always kind of been against pay-per-views because the same reason UFC is. I just don't have the money to fork out. But this is that they're going to put on their best show at WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, so on and so forth. I'm giving it a shot at least when you got these big events.
So to wrap that up in a nice little bow, it's basically if you can get a reliable stream to the big events, you'll watch moving forward.
That is basically it, and I did have a few struggles, but that's part of the deal.
If you're going to watch two of them, the Royal Rumble and Wrestlemania are probably the two best ones to pick.
And it'll probably be a while before I watch it.
Here's what I ask. I don't give a shit what you watch the rest of the year. I recommend this. I'm sure David would watch tonight, because tonight, historically, the last 3-4 years, tonight's been a big deal. So.
I'm considering it here. There's not much else on TV. Probably we'll put the women's basketball.
Set it to record tonight.
Very good.
Put the Raw. What's that?
If you're ever going to watch a Raw, tonight's definitely the night to do it, because like Travis just said, night after Mania is usually one of the best Raws of the year.
I appreciate Mr. Stacken giving Brock Lesnar a mention in the blog this week. That was very impressive. That was very goddamn impressive.
Before you go any further, actually, say whatever else you were going to say, and then I want to get in before Schottenkirk gets his 2 cents in.
Oh, whatever you got.
I misspelled the name. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
The editor-in-chief, he got fired. So
yeah, well,
I commend Marcus for saying he's trying to watch WrestleMania. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't get into it. It just doesn't do anything for me. So, Marcus, thanks for picking up the torch for us guys who just...
If they played it on ice with a puck, would it help?
Yeah, because then it would be called hockey.
Oh, goddamn.
So now you're giving Vince McMahon ideas, an ice match. I mean, the way you can market it, you do it in the northern states in the winter. I mean, this is a game changer.
Well, and I think I didn't maybe say this to Schottenkirk, but even as somebody who doesn't follow wrestling, I got the computer going again for the Rusev John Cena title match. Yep. And my first question is, how does Rusev, why does he get the U.S. championship? Why does he have it in the first place?
Because he beat the guy that had it before him.
You don't have to be an American.
No, you don't have to be American. Just the title.
Okay, all right.
It was the first.
That was
time
my favorite thing when I was a little kid. That it was always an American that had the European championship. We thought that was really weird.
Last night was the first night he lost.
Yes.
Essentially, a pin or a submission. So he's been around for about 14 months or so, and last night was the first time he lost. So.
But I watched obviously his entry. I knew that he was undefeated. Read your little blog, and it was clear as day that John Cena was going to win. Everybody knew it. He usually doesn't lose at the WrestleMania. So. Yeah. Big rumors are that next year it's in Dallas, and then the year after that Minneapolis. So. Wow. I fully expect WrestleMania 33 to be in Minneapolis. The Vikings are saying this is why, Stack, and they built it. You're a big fan.
Yep, definitely am. Almost as big of a fan as Minnesota getting a Major League Soccer team. So for fuck's sake. All 800 fans out there supporting that. That was really great to see.
Build them a stadium. Yep.
Just a couple things I jump off here because I can't miss any Raw as we discussed. But
Kirk, give me my check too, would you?
Yeah, if you don't have it tomorrow, let me know because otherwise there's something fishy going on.
Okay. Is it in the mail? Okay.
It should have been there today. But, anyways, I think my biggest takeaway where I'm getting at, and I was even more cemented that fact of saying that Vince is going to step away next year, is because he wasn't on the show last night. Obviously, he was there. Obviously, he was in the back running things. I would have liked to see him come out to the ring when Hunter and Steph were out there. I would have liked to see him and have him do his little bit. That didn't happen. I might be reading way too far into it. Another thing that I've been thinking about for quite a while, they're going to have some sort of angle, and it's going to be very, very good. There's almost no way they can mess it up. But Shane McMahon's coming back, and he's going to be on TV before the end of the year.
There was some heavy chants for him during that Rock segment, so that would be fine. This Vince McMahon thing you're talking about, do you expect this to be a storyline thing? They did a thing a couple of years ago kind of like this where he stepped aside. You expect this to be more of a real thing, not just a storyline deal?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a storyline that is actually playing out in real life, too, versus a couple years ago when Vince was going senile, for lack of a better term, storyline-wise, when Hunter was trying to help him and he was going crazy or whatever. I think they're going to have some sort of, it's probably a few months before they start, but some of my SummerSlam is going to pick up, and then I think McMahon, Shane probably is on TV right around SummerSlam time with this, and I think it really picks up. And like I said, January 1st next year in the Mania, I think Vince is pretty much all but done. I think Shane's really going to take more active role in the company too, which I'm not opposed to.
I asked you last year your main event. We kind of touched on it on the blog. I thought it would be Rock and Brock Lesnar would be the main event. That does not appear to be what will happen. Sounds like Triple H and The Rock in some sort of match would be. I don't know if it's your main event, but one of the big matches. What do you think closes the show? Possibly The Undertaker.
Yeah, if it's truly Taker's last match and his retirement match, quote unquote, I would have to assume that's going to close the night. Depending on what the title picture is, and depending on if we get a Stone Cold versus Cena, if that's the way it plays out, I don't think they couldn't do that on the same night that Taker's leaving because it wouldn't feel right. There's gigantic matches all throughout. Obviously every year speculation runs wild. It's just a couple hours right after the Mania before, and you got 365 days to figure things out. But I would assume that it's Lesnar's probably in that main event again next year. It might be. I don't know. That's so tough. Because Reigns is going to get the title here too in a month or two. He might be back in it. I said on the blog, so I'll stick with it. I think Reigns walks into and out of next year's WrestleMania as title holder, so he'll be involved somewhere too.
Alrighty, and if it's in Minneapolis, I think that's a short drive. That would be something because it sure as hell isn't going to get closer than that. So.
Sioux Falls.
Omaha.
The Denny. It's going to be at the fucking College World Series. They're going to pack them in 20,000 deep there. So,
The Dyke House Center.
Oh no, Dyke House. That's a shame. The name is just tremendous. It's just.
Friends, your Dayton squad is up by 1 right now on UConn at half.
What sport is this? College
curling.
The women.
Yes.
That'd be a big goddamn upset.
You're a fan of the men. I figured you'd be a fan of the women.
May as well go all in.
Did they lose by over under? They lose by 13. Everyone
over. Yeah.
Dayton wins. Dayton wins.
Oh boy, there it is.
Dayton wins.
Dayton wins.
And quickly, Prince, I would like to applaud the NCAA for actually having some stones in condemning Indiana's law, and the NFL. You know what? On serious issues, they seem to be rather silent, but on trivial crap like changing the fucking extra point, they seem to be talking about that nonstop. So good job, NCAA, NFL, SMH.
We're making it. We're kind of turning stacking here at the NFL. We're kind of turning it. I think we're getting a good turn out of you there. If we had more time, Rob's starting, so we got to wrap it up. So I got some NFL things on the list. The cameras being too expensive.
Yes.
When Stackin told me about that, I shit myself and said, "They can go to hell."
I'm the leading advocate for high-speed cameras to be used on replay.
Yes.
Automated stuff.
I mean that's simple.
They don't want. Just gonna say if they don't want to implement it, that's fine, but don't use cost as the main reason. That's a bunch of baloney.
Also, these penalties and fines for the Browns and the Falcons. Browns GM Ray Farmer suspended 4 games. You suspend your GM. Great. $250,000 fine. That does nothing for me. Falcons a 5th-round pick. You know how I feel about draft picks, and what a $300,000 fine. This does nothing. This does not. This is like fining an NBA player $10,000. It's like fining you and me $10. Like here you go.
Roddy White lost his job because of it.
Oh no. I enjoyed that part of the story. They had 2 Roddy Whites. Not a common name. They had 2 Roddy Whites. I enjoyed that to hell. So we can get that into a couple weeks here. NFL draft about 5 weeks away. The big baseball preview. We're talking balls and bats for days. So get excited for that. Brock Lesnar. He starts to show off. So go watch that. Get hard on that, Mr. Traxler. So for Mr. Schottenkirk, we enjoyed his input. Drue Alman, the big baseball preview sometime the next week. Charlie Hildebrand, Nathan Stackin, and a shirt. I enjoyed your shirt. Others did not.
Thank you. And, it's not like it's that busy or anything.
Yeah, it's
not.
Shirt.
It's a good shirt. It's a good shirt.
Thank you.
It's a fine shirt, and Mr. The good trivia question 2 weeks in a row out of Marcus.
Yeah, I'll try to bring it here the next few weeks here with some trivia.
Possibly a baseball one next week. Possibly baseball.
Maybe 2. I like Final Four trivia. I'm a big fan of Final Four trivia, so I will come up with some stuff and go with that.
All right. So it was a great sports weekend. Basketball, wrestling. When sports is good, it's the best. So hopefully that continues. Baseball preview next week. The 111th edition. We wrap it up. Enjoy Raw because I know Stackin will.